August 8th, a month ago, 2 months ago. He said the following. Liz Wheeler claims Tristan Tate teaching young men how to deceive women and take their virginity. A conservative political commentator, this girl named Liz Wheeler, Liz, I think you would like this lady, and podcast host recently criticized Tristan Tate, brother of Andrew Tate, allegedly promoting deceptive tactics towards women. Wheeler shared a video where Tate discussed dating and said Tristan Tate teaches young men how to lie to innocent women to take their virginity. I'll do 2 or 3 virgins per year. I'll teach you how. Jordan Peterson even responded and supported you, saying for advocating family values and discipline, joined the criticism by sharing Wheeler's tweet and warning about the potential consequences of weak men influenced by Tate's advice. Peterson wrote, if you think strong men are dangerous, wait until you see what weak men are capable of. Sincerely, someone a while ago. If you want to play the clip, I don't know if you have the video or not, or is it just a tweet?
No, I put the video on the tweet.
Okay, so go back to that tweet and see if you go click on. There you go.
Yeah, listen to this.
All right, let's watch this, and then let's get your take, and then we'll give our feedback here.
Like me and meet the women who I meet and roll in the circles I meet, you meet beautiful virgins sometimes. Me, I'll do 2 or 3 virgins a year. Now, how do you date a virgin when you're an ice cold player? There is a tactic which I'm going to share with you on how to date a virgin and how to take a girl's virginity. Now, the recipe hasn't changed, but the tactics and the implementation has certainly changed. Be their boyfriend for 3 months and be in a nice relationship with them. That is the recipe. I'm sorry, guys. You want to run into a virgin and fuck her the next day? Don't ask me how. I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. I don't even think it's possible. You have to be their boyfriend for an extended period of time. You then have to take her virginity on the 2nd month anniversary or something along those lines. And I'm going to teach you how to do it while still being
You can pause it here. You can pause it here. So it's a 2-minute video. Commentary, thoughts on this, why you have a problem with this.
Well, I mean, the words that he used make it pretty clear. He said, I'm going to teach you a strategy. I'm going to teach you a tactic, how to manipulate a girl into sleeping with her, to deceive her into thinking that she is loved by me in order to exploit her, objectify her, and have sex with her. That's pretty disgusting, I think, by anybody's standards.
Adam?
I think one more comment I will make. The reason that I criticize him specifically, or that I've criticized Andrew Tate, is because at one point Andrew Tate was the most Googled man in the world. He's incredibly influential among young men. And the reason, it's very interesting why he's influential, because he accurately diagnoses a serious cultural problem in the West. He accurately notes that masculinity is under assault, that men are told that they're toxic and bad. And he actually, to his credit, has the courage to say, I'm going to push back against this. I'm going to tell men to be men. The problem is that once he accurately diagnoses the problem, his antidote, what he prescribed, is self-destructive. He doesn't actually teach young men how to be good, strong men. He instead leads them towards pornography and materialism and exploitation of women and worship of self. So I think that makes him more dangerous because he does accurately diagnose a problem, but then his prescription for it is to lead young men astray.
So is your biggest issue with Andrew and Tristan that virgin video, or is there sort of a symptom of a larger problem that you have with them overall?
I mean, that video is an example of the point that I make when people say that Andrew and Tristan Tate are good role models for young men. I don't think that's a good role model for young men. To learn how to manipulate and lie and deceive women into having sex with them?
I actually want to address that, but I just actually want to understand your perspective genuinely. Do you think that the Tate brothers, for men specifically, are a positive net value, positive net role model, or negative?
Negative. I think they lead young men towards self-destruction.
Okay, so you think that the words that they're saying, not the little clips, but their overall message is bad for men, not good?
Yes, because what are they telling men? They're telling men you're attacked, you're a victim, and that resonates with men because that is a valid grievance, especially in American culture. That's why they've become so popular here. They were popular in Europe and in Britain, but they're so popular here the last couple of years because there is a war on masculinity. So young men are feminized, and it's a powerful thing when you take a valid grievance and then tell someone that the solution to that grievance is something that actually harms them. So I actually think they're more self-destructive than some people on the left because they're playing on a valid problem and prescribing something that's harmful to young men.
Just to be clear, what do you think that their prescription is for men?
Pornography, materialism, exploitation of women, and worship of self.
That's what you think their message is to men?
That is what you can read all of their stuff, listen to all their stuff. I've extensively listened to all of their advice for young men, and they literally say, if you are not extremely wealthy, you are not a real man. Money is the most valuable thing. Like, money's great. We're all trying to make a living here. We're all trying to make money, but it is not the most valuable thing. That is a message of materialism. They've run pornography business. That's how they got rich. That's how they got famous. They pretend to back away from it now just to avoid criticism, but it's really just because they don't need to do that anymore. They constantly are talking about how to be a top G and how to manipulate women. I think that's an incredibly destructive message. Do you think that's positive for young men?
A lot of it I do, and I'll tell you why.
That video. Do you think that video is?
No, I'll address that video. But what's interesting is he actually had a nuanced approach. Said you need to date them to 3 months.
But
how many women are going to date a guy for 3 months that they are not interested in, that is not there for them, that is not providing for them, that is not protecting from them, that isn't there for them? You don't just slip in and fall into a virgin. I totally understand that. Is you actually need to date these women. So at that point, it's the woman's decision. So my question to you is, how many men...
You don't think that's deceptive? Like, he's deceiving them. He doesn't actually care about them. He's doing things to make them think that he cares about them.
You know what? Welcome to modern day dating, baby. Like, this is what happens out there. Men do this with women. Women do this with men.
And you don't think that's destructive?
I think it is what it is. Whether it's destructive or not is your opinion.
Do you think it is? I'm interested in your opinion. Do you think that that's a harmful dating dynamic?
I don't think that that is my objective to dating, going out there and taking virginities. That's not my thing.
Why?
But going out and dating multiple women, I've done that forever.
But do you think it's an honest thing to do?
I don't want to focus on the virginity. I want to focus on the bigger message
women.
here. No, you're missing the point, Liz. What percentage of men are millionaires in the world?
I don't think that's the point. The point is what they're telling
I'm asking you
men.
a question, Miss Liz Wheeler, because I respect your opinion. You're beautiful, you're smart, you're educated. What percentage of men are millionaires?
I don't know.
Take a guess. You're smart.
I have no idea.
You have
I'll Google it.
Fine.
Okay.
Tell me the answer if you want the answer. I'm
a couple
interested in your
percent,
point.
8% of men, let's say. What percentage of men are 6 foot with six packs? We just did this earlier.
I mean, I'm not 6 foot, but
Okay. What percentage?
a six pack.
All right.
I don't even know. What the six?
While you're Googling this,
I'm
millionaire,
Googling it 'cause I'm
millionaire,
interested in this.
6 foot, abs, in shape, actually a man who is good looking, fit, takes care of his person, a man who can provide, protect, be present for his woman. These, to become the top G, Liz,
What does
Do you
top
know-
G mean? What does that mean to you?
a fucking top gangster, like a top G.
but what does that mean?
A top male, a high value
Alpha male, basically, is what you're saying.
What do you love about your husband? Go ahead.
I
tell me.
love that he is godly. I love that he is a man of virtue. I love that he is strong. I love that he is a man of integrity. I love that he's
How tall is your
faithful.
husband?
5'10".
He's 5'10". He probably rounds
Served
up
in the
to 6
U.S.
foot.
Navy.
So
Worked
he's
for
a-
Border Patrol.
So hold on.
Stud. He's a
in a
stud.
medical
Stud.
provider.
I met your
We
husband.
had lunch
you
with
have.
him, right?
Yeah.
I did. So let me get this straight. He's a tall, good-looking, studly man who's done well for himself.
Yes.
Okay. Don't you think it's incumbent on most men to try to accomplish that?
To be materially successful.
I didn't say that. To be good-looking, successful, leader, in shape, lead men. Don't you think that's important for men?
I think the number one most important thing for men to do is to try to be godly.
That's your opinion.
It is, yes.
Okay, that's your opinion.
I'm answering your question, though. You're
Yes.
asking my opinion if
Okay.
I think those things are important. I think the most important thing for a man to do is to be godly. I think to provide and protect
why
for
don't
his
you
wife
marry
and
a
his
priest?
children.
Why don't you marry a
Priests
priest?
Priests don't get married.
Okay, well, that's their bad. But there are some pastors that do get married. It's when you marry a pastor. If that's
But
the
the
most
family
important
unit, the
It's actually not a
marriage
bad
is a
idea if
domestic.
priests do start getting
thing.
married.
Is the
right?
domestic
They'll start diddling
church.
kids.
Takes the
Okay.
pressure off the altar, boys.
I mean, I feel like you.
I'm trying to see where you're going with this.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
is your-
I'm not
give
sure where
your-
you're going with this either.
The point is this: you're lambasting this man for accomplishing what very few men can accomplish. The fact that
Wait a
he's
second,
made
wait a
all
second.
this.
Repeat to me what I said. When you say I lambast him for what he's accomplished, I don't care how much money he has. What did I say my problem
Why
was
are you
Andrew
focused
Tate?
on the money?
No,
Why-
no. What did I say my problem was
Liz,
with Andrew
you're
Tate?
missing the entire point of my point.
Tell me what your point
Why
is.
do so many men, not just impressionable 13-year-olds, men, grown ass motherfucking men,
Yeah.
40 years old, successful, good values, moral compass, strong leaders, why do those men find him fascinating and resonate with him? Answer me that.
Yes,
why
I
do grown
will.
ass men, not teenagers, actually love these guys?
Let me tell you why.
Yes.
And it's what I said before. Because
Because
Western
they're all toxic
culture.
masculinity?
You live in the United States of America. You understand that the most powerful politicians and the most powerful cultural influences, James Cameron, for goodness sake, in Hollywood, called testosterone a toxin. Men are told that if they so much as pursue a woman or ask her on a date, that they are sexually harassing. Men right now aren't afforded due process of law when they face frivolous allegations of sexual misconduct that could be to the level of criminal conduct. Do you understand how vulnerable this makes young men?
Yeah, because I'm a man. I understand what it is.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I'm asking
let me finish what I'm saying.
Why men resonate with him.
Because of how powerfully men react to being attacked. And then you have Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate coming in and saying, I see you, and that attack that's happening against you is wrong. You don't have to face that. I'm going to give you the secret to avoiding that and to succeeding anyway, when everything from the education system to our legal system to our culture is telling men that they are worthless, that they are bad, that they're inherently rapists. I mean, it's bad what's happening to men. They come in and say, I have a solution so that you don't have to live that. That's more powerful than a drug, Adam. That's why men find it attractive.
You bring up a good point, but you've never been a man. So you're arguing with me, a grown-ass man, and amongst other men, what it's like to be a man and what we're feeling. I can assure you this, my lovely friend, the number one thing that men are not taking from Andrew Tate is the matriarchy's coming against you and you can't go out and talk to women. It's actually the exact opposite. It's, oh, you want more women in your life? You want more success in your life? You want better cars, bigger things, bigger dreams, more beautiful women in your life? Follow these steps. Not, you're a victim. I understand you. I'll give you a hug. Let me show you what's going on.
Adam,
so let's do
you
this.
used one of Andrew Tate's words that he uses to describe the attack on masculinity about an hour ago on this show. That's how deeply Andrew Tate's message is in your own mind. I'm observing it.
What's the word?
The Matrix.
Okay.
He's the one that made that word long after the movie become a staple in every young man's vocabulary. The Matrix is after you. Here's how you avoid the Matrix. Here's how you're successful in spite of the Matrix. I'm not telling you how to feel. You can feel however you want.
So what's
I'm
what's your
observing
point?
how young
What's your
men
point?
react.
Because I said the word.
Let's ask a different question here. Because I'm still trying to figure out where. Okay, so Tom, question for you. That video right there with how to take 3 virginities per year. What do you think about it? As a father of 2 girls, would you want your daughters to watch that video?
Well, I'll speak as a person who once upon a time wasn't a father of 2 girls. I see what they're doing, and they're providing a prescription for basically men that are under attack in modern society, and I think it's pretty horrifying. However, what's equally horrifying is there are, this is not one-sided. There are women that are living in this fallen world who do not have godly foundations, who are playing into it as well. So this is not a zero game. But it's indicative of a fallen world that lives without foundation, that will be led to the most base of our animal instincts. And I think they're providing a very, intricate plan on how to play and roam and succeed in that construct. That's the construct of life we have. And you know what? It's not my construct. And it's not a construct that I want my daughters to buy into or be a part of, but it's a construct. But there's women that are playing into that without godly foundations as well. And that's the game.
Okay, so let me give my feedback, and then we can go to the next story. Number one, I don't know why he makes that video. I would never make a video like that to say how many virginities you take per year, et cetera, et cetera. If you date, and if you have a sister, your dynamics changes in the way you view the world, because you're so protective of your sister. So in your mind, if you're afraid of God and you have the fear of God, you fear what you do to girls one day is going to come back and someone's going to do to your sister or they're going to do to your kid. So that fear of God is a very powerful thing to have. I had that since I was a kid, so it messed with me a lot because I had an older sister and I'm super protective. Now, for me, my daughters are going to watch that video.
Smart.
Yeah. I'm going to have both of my girls watch that video when they get to an age. And I'm going to say, hey, check this out, girls. Here's a guy named Tristan, okay? I've spent time with him. I actually like this guy. And by the way, if you're also not too careful, you will also like guys like this because they're out there, because they're charming, they're sexy, they're attractive, but their outcomes are different outcomes. So someone is going to try to take your virginity away from you, okay? You only get to say that once. God willing, it's your choice, and it's somebody you love that maybe leads to You getting married or you save yourself. That's a choice you got to make as an individual. And as a parent, you got to prepare them, okay? As putting them in the right environment, God, all of those things you got to do yourself. So one, they're watching that video to know exactly what some of the tactics may be. Number two, I think, strategies out there, most men have no clue on how to date a girl. No clue on how to date a girl. There's strategies on how to date a coworker. There's strategies on how to date, areas, what markets to target. Heck, there was a documentary, Wedding Crashers, where you can go, and target funerals. If you remember, Will Ferrell rocked the funerals, right? That was his strategy.
I watched that documentary
many times. Some lived it, some watched it. But to Neil, what's the guy's name? Neil Strauss, who wrote the book, The Game. One guy, him and I were talking. I'm at Harvard. I'm talking to the guy in 2015. I said, Neil, I want to bring you on. I'll never forget what he said. He says, Pat, I don't want to talk about the book, The Game. I said, why? He says, because I'm actually married right now with kids. My life's changed. I actually never wanted to. Now I'm embarrassed of writing that book. Some words he used,
Good for
right?
him.
So,
Good for him.
but here's the point. The point is, he may be going through that phase one day, and he may say, good for him. For us to expect and look at Tristan and Andrew as their Jesus and they walk on water, that's not my standard of anybody. I learned a long time ago, if you have that standard of anybody, you'll be disappointed very quickly. But the amount of influence that they're having out there on boys and what they're doing, if there isn't a father figure that's teaching those things, kids are going to gravitate to somebody like that that's going to inspire them. I think they're doing more good for society than bad, if you ask me. I think they're fighting the fight, and unfortunately, sometimes the people that we want to fight the fight will never meet 100% of everybody's criterias. Never. The people who had the courage to go up against the biggest bullies of all time were never people you would have said, I like 100 things out of 100 things that this guy stands for. No, they're typically very, very complicated human beings that have lived very weird lives, that have been tough lives, that they have some scars, they have some vengeance in them, but they're fearless. And to get that kind of fearlessness requires a pretty shitty life to live, to get to a point like that. Some people that have lived a very proper life, mom and dad were married the entire time, they were together, they were not grown in the streets. My parents got 2 divorces from each other for 20 years. Certain lives are creating different kinds of human beings. I don't sit there and say, that is the gold standard on every single thing you should do with your life. I say, yeah, you know what? That's a pretty crazy video to make. You know what? If I was friends with you at that time, I would tell you, what are you doing making this video? Just take this thing down.
That's not an isolated incident. So here's what I hear that you're saying. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I hear you saying that the type of behavior that he was encouraging and training young men in, and this is the type of stuff that's behind their paywall if you join their Hustler University or whatever they call it. So you're saying that you would view that as a threat to your daughters because you're going to show this video to your daughters in order to warn them about young men who would take advantage of them sexually by deceiving them into thinking that they're cared about.
I'm surrounded by players. I mean,
But you view that as a threat to your own children, which means that you don't view what Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate are bringing to young men as something positive, because what they're doing is they're